Hey, it's Justin from CanadaWhips.ca, and in this video, we're going to learn the cattleman's crack. The cattleman's crack is one of the most basic techniques that you can learn. It's absolutely fundamental, and it's normally the first trick that everyone learns when they start their whip cracking journey. The cattleman's crack can be used for a variety of different reasons and tricks, and it has a lot of fun variations. In this video, I'm going to teach you what the cattleman's crack is, show you how to do it, fix some common mistakes, and then we'll end with some fun variations that you can try once you've finished learning the trick. The cattleman's crack is a really basic trick where the whip goes up and then comes down. The crack happens right in front of you, and it's a forward-facing crack. The crack can be done to your side, in front of you, at your other side, can be done over your head, although that variation is called the overhead crack, and it can be done behind your back, although that variation is called the Tasmanian cutback. Needless to say, you can do the cattleman's crack pretty much anywhere. And it's an incredibly useful trick to learn. There's three parts to the cattleman's crack: the upswing, the weight, and then the downswing. Let's start with the upswing. Put the whip on the ground with it laying behind you. You're going to take the whip holding the bottom of the handle and bring your arm out so it's pointing straight out, and your armpit is at about a 90-degree angle. After that, you're going to bend your arm so that your elbow is also at about a 90-degree angle. So 90, 90. You want to make sure that the handle is pointing up and a little bit back, not much further than this. A lot of folks, when they try and learn the cattleman's crack, they'll bring their handle all the way back, and you're going to lose all the leverage that you'll get if you keep your handle pointed high. So make sure it points up like this. I want you to practice that again. Going out, 90, 90. 90, 90. Okay? You want to make sure that the whip has a nice full extension in the air when you swing it up. Notice how it's nice and straight all the way around. If you notice that on the way up, your whip kind of does something like that, where it gets a little bit of a curve in it, you want to try and swing up with a little bit more force so that it's one nice solid motion. And again, make sure that your handle doesn't go all the way back. Once you can do that, we're going to do the second part of the routine, which is by far the most important, and that's waiting. All we do after we swing up is wait for the thong to come all the way behind the handle. Okay, a lot of folks, they swing up and they immediately try and swing down, and you're not going to get the crack because you need a loop to form in order for the crack to happen. So we need to swing up and wait. And we're just waiting until the thong is all the way behind itself, okay? We don't initiate the downswing until the cracker has almost touched the ground. So you can see it's just hanging like this, and now we're ready to come down. Step 3 is the downswing. And you might think that the downswing is the most important part of the crack, but actually it's the least important. Because as long as your upswing is lined up properly and your weight has good timing, the downswing is really just bringing the whip down and causing the loop to form. To learn the downswing, we're basically just going to do the opposite of step 1. We're going to start with our hand up here, our elbow and wrist are going to straighten out this way, and then our arm is going to come down. So again, we're here, we're taking this 90, putting it straight, then taking this 90, putting that straight. One more time. Out and down, okay? Once you can do your downswing, you're ready to put all three of those things together. The whip's going to be behind you, you're going to swing up, wait, and bring it back down. Swing up, wait, and bring it back down. And again, when we're doing this whole process, we're making sure of a few things. The first is that our handle is pointed up towards the sky. If you're having problems, check that first. The second is that the thong of the whip comes all the way behind us. If you're not getting cracks, check that too. Make sure that your timing is so that the whip is right there. One other thing that we need to make sure of is that we're not hitting ourselves. And if you got to this point, I'm sure you've hit yourself with the whip at least once or twice, okay? And the reason that that's happening is because of our wrist angle. If our wrist is pointed in towards us like this, when the whip goes to crack, it's going to want to stay on the inside of our body, and that's going to make it hit us. If the whip is pointed out away from us like this, when the whip goes up and comes down, it's going to want to pass our body. So again, wrist in, I'm going to hit myself. Wrist out, I'm going to miss myself. If you hit yourself in the leg when you're doing the upswing, which happens to some people, it's likely because your whip is kind of behind you this way. So it's kind of hanging out like over on this side, and then when you swing up, it's going to be passing by your leg. So make sure it's nice and straight behind you, as if you're standing between two train tracks, and the whip is going to hang out along that train track the entire time. All right, so we've covered what the cattleman's crack is, how to do it. We've fixed some common mistakes. Now I'm sure you're a cattleman's crack master. And the next thing is, what can we do with it? So I'll show you a few tricks. The first is what I just did. You can do the cattleman's crack, pass it behind your back, and do the cattleman's crack in your other hand like that. You can add in some extra spins with that move, like this. That can be pretty cool. Another thing that you can do is you can turn with the cattleman's crack. So to do this one, if we imagine the train tracks that I mentioned earlier, we're going to crack along one train track, turn so that we face the train track, and then once we've turned around, we're going to lift the whip up and bring it onto the other train track where we're going to crack it down again. So here, along the train track, up, down, like that. That's a cool way to turn. One last thing I really like using the cattleman's crack for is for cracking right after a simple release. So to do this, I swing up just like step one, and now in step two, instead of just waiting, I'm going to let go of the handle. I'm not adding any force, I'm not adding any spin, I'm really just removing my hand from the whip. Right before the whip gets back into position, I re-grab the handle and I crack it. And I find this looks really good when you move your hand as far away from the whip as possible. So, because then it makes it really clear that you're not holding on. But you can do it really close to start. You can even do it while still touching the whip, just not holding on. And then eventually you're going to get to the point where you can crack. You can do it to change hands, add in spins. And yeah, that's how to do the cattleman's crack. Thanks for watching this video. If you're ready to learn some more whip cracking tricks, check out CanadaWhips.ca or more of the videos on this channel. Thanks so much.